Have you ever been talking to a pilot and heard something like, "I'm on a 2-day," or "I've got a stand-up tonight"? These are flight crew terms to describe the schedules that we have at airlines, and there are a lot of them. As a pilot, the biggest thing that I get asked about is my schedule, so I've made videos describing what my day looks like in my shoes, or even what an entire month's schedule is like. But I've never broken down the specific types of trips that you can expect as an airline pilot. So let's get started because there's a lot to cover.
Yacht F is off.
Day trips or turns are about the closest thing to a 9-to-5 job that you'll get as an airline pilot. Your flight schedule, which we call a sequence, is just a series of flights all during the day. If you live in base, you get to wake up at home, go to the airport to fly, and end the day by sleeping in your own bed. These are called turns when you fly to an outstation and then usually come straight back to the hub. If you live in base, these types of trips usually go fairly senior because you get the unique chance to work a trip without having to spend much time away from home. If you don't live in base, day trips would be just about your worst nightmare because you have to find somewhere to sleep every single night, since the airline doesn't cover hotels if they aren't built into your sequence.
From all of us at American Airlines, thank you for flying with us today. A special welcome to Adventure.
A continuous duty overnight, sometimes called a stand-up or CDO, is a way for airlines to build schedules that staff late-night arrivals followed by early morning departures. As pilots, we need an opportunity for at least 10 hours of rest and 8 hours of sleep, no matter what. And technically, this rest doesn't have to be at any particular time of the day. With a CDO, you'll get your legal rest completed during the middle of the day, then you'll fly from your base to an outstation, usually landing somewhere between 9 p.m. and midnight, and in the morning, you'll crew the early flight out between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. This leaves you with 4 to 8 hour break in the middle of the night, hence the name continuous duty overnight. I'll be honest, I hate flying CDOs and I'd never bid for them, but some pilots absolutely love them because it gives you the most time at home during the day and you're always guaranteed to start a trip late and finish it early. 2-day, 3-day, and 4-day trips are exactly that. It's just the length of the trip, but not in terms of hours. It's all about how many days you touch in a row. So if you start at 10 p.m. on a Monday and finish at 8 a.m. on a Thursday, that's a 4-day trip, even though it's not 96 hours long. Subtract 1 from the name, and that's how many nights you'll be spending away from home in a row. So if I say I'm flying a 2-day, I just have 1 night on the road. A long 4-day trip might have 20 to 26 hours of flight time, and a good 2-day would have something like 10 to 14 hours of flying. I want to take a second to give a shout out to an organization that's offered me so much support throughout my career. The NGPA proves that there's an aviation community for each one of you watching this video. We've come a long way in aviation, but there's a lot of work left to be done to make this career as inclusive as I know it can be. NGPA is the largest organization of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender aviation professionals and enthusiasts from around the world. Plus, right now the NGPA scholarship cycle is open to help fund your flight training and other aviation goals. This year, $150,000 is being awarded in scholarships, which are due by August 31st, and I've included a link in the description below for you to find out more. Okay, back to flight schedules. For me personally, besides the occasional day trip with a long turn or two, my favorite type of trip by far is a 3-day trip. On your second day of work, you can already look forward to going home the next day, which I absolutely love. It's not too short, it's not too long, it's just right. Most months have around 15 days of flying, so let's say you get lucky and have a schedule built with only 3-day trips. Of all the days working, only the middle day is a day that you never touch home. And if you live in base, that means you'll only be spending 5 full days away from home each month. Commuter trips or commuter lines could be any of the schedules that I've talked about, except they're structured in a way to, well, help commuters. These trips usually start on day 1 and finish by noon on the last day, allowing commuters from all over the country and sometimes all over the world to get home on the same day of work. You'll have a transition period between different bidding months. Sometimes this can work in your favor, with your off days matching up on either end, so you have more than a week off in between months. But in some cases, trips carrying over into the next month might have as many as 6 days flying in a row. That's because the trips are combined. I almost always avoid bidding for schedules with transition flying. I've made an entire video talking about what it means to be a reserve pilot, so I won't get into all of the details here. Just know that on reserve, you're on call and can get any combination of what we've talked about so far, at a moment's notice, with very little choice and almost no consistency. I'm not a cargo pilot and know their schedules are way different than mine. I was planning on bringing my friend Drake here to have him talk to you guys about being a 747 cargo pilot, but he's gone for about 2 weeks. Yep, 2 weeks in a row. Cargo flying is even less predictable than passenger flying, and depending where you work, you could find yourself on much longer trips that are multiple weeks long, circling the globe sometimes a few times. No matter what your schedule is, you can be extended or junior manned as a line holder or a reserve pilot. That's basically when the company has an immediate need for a pilot, and with no one else to fill the seat, you're contractually forced to fly. Sometimes you might even have to fly into your scheduled day off. The rules for this vary massively between airlines, and there's no way I can get into all of that in this short video. I've included a link in the description below to explain more about how this works. So that's it, guys, a big summary of the types of trips that you can expect to work as an airline pilot. If you have any questions about what I've talked about, leave me a comment or suggest a topic for an upcoming video in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. There's a lot more to come soon.